Okay, so protein can cost a little bit of money, right? Especially when you're looking at good lean cuts of meat or you're looking at chicken breast and things like that. Sometimes it's just a little bit too expensive. So I was thinking recently, I'm like, you know what can I figure out and share with you how you can get cheap sources of protein that aren't gonna cost an arm and a leg and that are still really good quality sources. And thinking about like what I shop for, I thought, you know what, it's actually been a really, really good video. So the first thing that I always like to do is look at eggs, right? Eggs are really, really cheap. You can buy them by the dozen and they're really good sources of protein. So one egg usually has about 7 grams of protein, right? So that means if you have 4 eggs in a day, that's 28 grams, that's roughly 30 grams a serving. And if you buy a carton of eggs, whether it be 12 or 18, you've got 3 or 4 days worth of eggs that you can actually have. And having them every single day is a really, really good source of protein. I mean, if each, let's say, costs you $5 for a carton, that's less than, what, 50 cents an egg, roughly? Like 60 cents an egg? So 60 grams for 60 cents for an egg isn't too bad. And being able to have that, like you can have it on the go, you can have it as a snack, it's really, really convenient source of protein. It's got good healthy fats in it. It's pretty much like, it's one of the most complete sources of protein you can actually have. And so eggs are a really good opportunity for you to have, and they're really, really cheap. So apart from eggs, you've got ground beef. Now, when you get ground beef, in Australia we call it mince, you've got different fat ratios, right? So the higher in fat, the cheaper it's gonna be, obviously. But the benefit with this is that it's still gonna be high in protein too. And when you're using a higher, fattier cut of beef, what that means is that you don't have to use cooking oil because it's going to be so fatty anyways, and so it's actually going to save you calories with the cooking oil. So when you get ground beef, you can buy it on special most of the time, like you get the 80-20 or the 90-10 or the 95-5, you want really lean beef, and it's actually really, really cheap. I mean, yes, like I said, it's going to be a little bit higher in fat, but you're still going to get that good source of protein, which is complete protein, as opposed to $32 for a cut of some type of steak that's grass-fed. That's what it is in Australia, right? Which is crazy. But if you can pay $10 for a kilo of like lean mince, that is way, way different, yet you're still getting a good amount of protein. So, and then you can use like mince or ground beef for things like beef stew. You can use it for chili con carne recipes. You've got so many options there, and because there's so much of it, you're gonna get a really good price. The third thing is anything canned. Canned chicken, canned beef like corned beef, canned tuna, sardines. They are cheap as, and they're convenient as. So anytime you have, like every time I go down to the shop, I always either see one of the labels like Green Seas or Serena or something like that, some tuna brand, for like $1 a can, and like $1 is gonna give me, I think, 16 or 17 grams of protein, which is an absolute steal. So when you see these cans on special, whether it be corned beef, whether it be corned beef, tuna, anything like that, go and get it, go and stock up on it, because there's nothing wrong with having those sources of protein, especially when they're so convenient too. And if you've never tried canned chicken or corned beef before, give it a go, because it's actually not that bad. Yes, it's a little bit higher in sodium because it needs to be preserved, but if it's convenient, it's cheaper for you, and it's easy to get it, then you're absolutely laughing. Now the next thing is going to be Greek yogurt. Again, always look for the specials. When I go to Woolworths or when I go to Coles or anywhere like that, and I see like you can buy Chobani or YoPros or anything like that, again, there's like 10, you can get 10 for $1 each, right? So it's 10 for $10. And if you get the plain Chobani or the plain YoPro, it's like 17 or 18 grams again. So you're getting the same type of thing as you would be getting a tuna or anything like that. It's cheap, it's good cost, it tastes good, especially like if you just get your own, like what I would say is if you're gonna get the YoPros, the Greek yogurts or anything like that, make sure it's plain, because the plain's gonna have more protein, less fat, and obviously less carbs, this doesn't have the fruit in there. Then you add your own fruit in there, because at the end of the day, if you're buying, like, let's say you're buying a flavored Chobani and it only has 13 grams of protein and it's higher in carbs because it's got the flavoring in there, you're not going to get the best bang for your buck. So if you want more protein for less cost, then choose the plain no-fat Chobani Greek yogurt or the YoPro or anything like that, because it's really, really cheap and it's a really, really good whole source of protein. It's filling. And like, let's say you have 2 Chobanis at once, that's 32 grams of protein right there that you're getting in a meal for $2. So it's super, super good. Always look for your specials, because at the end of the day, I'm cheap, right? Like, I can't afford to always buy grass-fed and always buy stuff like that. So having that as an option is so much more easier. Every time I see those 10 for $10, I just stock up on the Greek yogurt and stock up on the tuna. Usually the sales happen at the same time with the same type of brand, so I'll just boom, pile it in. And And the best thing about Chobani, you can freeze it. Just keep it in your freezer. So if you want to go nuts and buy a whole bunch, do it and then keep it in your freezer. So we've gone over cans, we've gone over ground beef slash mince, we've gone over eggs, we've gone over Greek yogurt. Now let's talk about whey protein isolate. Now, to be honest, like if you look at a tub of protein, it can be anywhere between $30 to $50, depending on where you get for it. 35 is probably usually the mark, $35 to $40. And 1 scoop of protein equals about 25 grams, right? So that's 30 grams. And if you're getting like 1 or 2 kilos, that's actually gonna last you a fair amount of time. And when you compare it to like, gram for protein, it's actually a pretty cheap source of protein. So when in doubt, just stock up on more protein and then you can, like more protein powder, and then have 1 or 2 scoops a day just to add in. And having that is another great way to get in more protein. First of all, it's super convenient for you. You can have it anywhere. And like I said, it's like gram for gram comparison wise, it's probably one of the best, cheapest sources of protein you can get. So just having something simple like that, your ground beef, tuna, eggs, Greek yogurt, and whey protein powder, they're pretty good sources of protein. They're super cheap. They're gonna help you keep on a budget. And when you bulk buy these things, it's gonna be way easier for you. So there are your 5 tips. I hope they were helpful. Now, before you go, what I want you to do is click on the link below to join my free newsletter. And every day, I'm gonna send you a tip on how you can build a badass body and get... Now, what I want you to do before you go is click on the link below, because I have a free newsletter that I send out every single day that shares with you the latest and greatest tips on how to get that badass body you want. So, until next time, speak to you then.